Hello and welcome to Positivity United, second video of the day. And any of you who watched my player ratings video will remember that I said I'm on the road, which is why I've got these weird surroundings. There's no fancy graphics on the videos today, and I apologize for video quality and I apologize for sound quality. I think I've improved the sound quality from the player ratings video I did, so hopefully it's got more volume. But yeah, I've got very limited technical capability on the road at the moment. So yeah, it is kind of like what it is. But yeah, this is my 5 insights video from our win against Aston Villa on Sunday. I've already sent out the player ratings video, but let me reiterate a little bit about what I said about the win. I thought it was a great reaction to the defeat against Newcastle, which is clearly a disappointing result and performance. I thought our performance against Villa was much better. I actually think Newcastle are a better team than Aston Villa. I think, all that stuff that's been said for the last 2 months, really, that Aston Villa were in the league above their position. They were above what the stats would suggest Villa's position ought to be. And I'm kind of like always a little bit in two minds about accepting that sort of thing, because what's more important, stats or points on the board? And Villa had the points on the board and they were third and they were comfortably third, but my goodness me, they've dropped off. And that's about it's not an insight I'm going to make, it's just an observation. It's on Sunday I noticed that in the lead up to the game there were actually people online, it's apparently United supporters, who were kind of like suggesting they wanted United to lose the game because they thought that after United losing the game against Newcastle, losing at home against Villa would essentially end Carrick's chances of becoming the permanent head coach. And they're so desperate for a hipster manager, they were willing to go for that. And one of the hipster managers, I don't know if he's a hipster manager, but one of the, anybody but Carrick managers that they are suggesting, of course, is Unai Emery. And I just say about Unai Emery, look what he did at Arsenal. Look what he did at Arsenal. At Arsenal, he was at a truly big club. No matter what we think about Arsenal, they are a truly big club. And he failed. He couldn't stand the pressure. What makes you think he's going to be any different at United? For those of you who want anybody but Carrick, why do you think Unai Emery is going to do any better at United than Carrick? Now, if Unai Emery gets offered a job in the summer and he gets appointed manager, I'll support him to the hill. But I will be scratching my head to wonder why Carrick didn't get the job, unless there's a massive drop-off between now and the end of the season, which is, I now believe, the only way in which Carrick won't get this job or won't deserve to get the job. Remember the 3 tests that I've got for Carrick. European qualification, not Champions League qualification, European qualification, because that was the standard that Ruben Amorim was being held to. Playing the United way, and if he's given the job, can he hold that coaching squad together, that coaching team? Because I think that coaching team's clearly very important. And if all 3 of those are answered yes, he should get the job. So he should not get the job now, and I'm not asking for that. I know Wayne Rooney, I think, has now essentially said, give him a job now. I don't agree. For one reason, I think it should wait until the end of the season. It should wait until it's proven that United are going to qualify for Europe. But secondly, I don't think it'll do Carrick and his team any good, because we know what happened when Solskjaer was given the job early. It gave people an excuse to slight Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right from the very beginning. And we don't want to give people that excuse with Carrick. So don't offer him the job now. Offer him the job, if appropriate, when he's proven that he's got us into Europe and doing it the right way. By the way, are we doing it the right way? I think we are, actually. I think you're expecting miracles if you expect, I don't know, golden levels of the Manchester United of 1999 to suddenly appear, or 2007, 2008 to appear, or thinking about from my past, thinking about the team that emerged in 92, 93, 93, 94. And in one season before that, the season we ended up second to Leeds in the last of the first division, the old first divisions. That team that was emerging then was unbelievably exciting. I don't think people realise how exciting it was. I think you had to be there to realise it. But when we had wide players like Giggs, Kanchelskis and Sharp rotating around as we did for those 3 seasons, God, it was good. And we can't expect that at the moment. We can't expect that. First, because nobody plays like that anymore, sadly. I am actually quite encouraged by how many people are now starting to pick up on the Premier League is not the great league that we all are told it is. It's in terms of fans and money, of course, it's the biggest league in the world. But the football can be decidedly boring. The Guardiolaization of football in England has done us no favours. And to be honest, I can't wait to see him go. I genuinely can't wait to see Guardiola leave City for all sorts of reasons, of course, because City will then have to start finding a manager to replace him. I don't deny he's a winning manager. But I'll deny until the end of the earth that he's a manager that brings exciting football, because I don't think he does. And there are too many impersonators. And the impersonator in chief, who calls Lego Man in Arsenal, has taken the percentages game to the absolute limit. It's Pep Guardiola plus, isn't it? It's Pep Guardiola, we'll keep the ball forever because then the opposition can't score. But it's taken it to another level. It's taken it to such a sterile level, that constant fixation on set pieces. It's ruining the game, in my opinion. And I was interested that lots and lots, more and more people are now saying this, that the game has to change, that we have to introduce an element of excitement back into the game, of individual creativity, which has been squashed out of the game by players being given very specific roles and almost pinpoint positions on the pitch it should be playing. That's why I couldn't stand, that's why I couldn't stand Ruben Amorim's little checkerboard in the game against Grimsby. I thought it summed up everything that was wrong about how we were playing and how we were set up. Anyway, I've wandered. Sorry about that. Insights on the game. Well, the first one is there's a bit of a myth about Carrick. He's a kind of like a chummy, like, friend of the players. I don't think he is. Or at least he's got a funny way of showing it, because he's a man who's willing to take some really, really big decisions. And that starting lineup was not one that I saw at all. Dropping Šeško? I thought that was a really ballsy decision. It didn't actually pay off, I don't think, in total. Mbeumo, who was playing in that forward role, again, I think found it difficult to impose himself on the game in that role. But I think the important insight from that is Carrick will make tough decisions. Carrick will make the decisions that he thinks will win games. And it would have been so easy to have played Šeško again, because all the fans would have been in favour of it, all the media would have been in favour of it. But he didn't. He picked the team he thought would win the game. And I think that shows a man of quite strong character and will, and puts a lie to the easygoing, chummy, arm around the shoulder friend of a player. So I think that's important, but I don't think it is an accurate caricature of Carrick at all. I think he's got a lot more to him than that, and I think the team selection showed that. So definitely my first insight. We've got a head coach at the moment who I think can make some pretty tough decisions when he feels it's necessary. Next insight. And it's a repeat of what I did a few weeks ago, but I'd make no apologies. Cunha. When I had this as an insight a couple of weeks ago, my insight was Cunha is underappreciated. And I don't know if he's underappreciated anymore, because I think people are beginning to realise just how good he is. But my goodness me, what a player he is. He's undroppable, in my opinion, at the moment. I think he's one of those players that is, again, a bit like mainly a bit misunderstood. He's not doing worldies all the time. But there's two things about him, and one can be misunderstood. The work rate. The work rate's phenomenal. I mean, if you compare him to who we had on the left beforehand, Rashford and Garnacho, I mean, you could weep at the difference, couldn't you? This is a man who will run his heart out for United. There was a moment in the game, would have been the second half. He ran right the way back to his own penalty area and did a superb tackle to win the ball back. That's not Rashford and that's not Garnacho. This guy gives his all. The goal he scores, but it's not just graft, because to misunderstand him as simply like a passion player would be to completely misunderstand what he is. The goal he scores. You confident that Rashford is scoring that? Maybe, but are you confident that Garnacho is scoring it? Not in a million years. Brilliantly taken goal. I mean, the pass from Fernandes, of course, was sublime, but the fact that he scores the goal at that time when we've just gone to 1-1, and you might be wobbling just a little bit. Fantastic performance by Cunha. That's why I gave him such a high score in the player ratings. But this insight is now so much that Cunha is underestimated. It's Cunha, I think, has now arrived. And if you don't see it, then I can't help you. You've got to see it for yourself. But this man, in my opinion, now would be one of the first names on the team sheet. He really would. He's superb. Next insight. If you're playing in a stable team, even if you're having a bit of a dodgy period, you can be pulled through. And I think that's what we're seeing with Lenny Yoro. He's making me my words. I said a few weeks ago he was 5th on my list of Man United centre-backs. So he's certainly higher than that now. In fact, he's 2nd now. Why? Because, he's fit. And he's playing well. He doesn't look nervous at the beginning of games like he did against, say, Everton. He's looking the part now, and that tackle in the that tackle would have been in the first half, wouldn't it? Yeah, the first half tackle when he did that superb sliding tackle in the penalty area. Gutsy, ballsy to do that in the circumstances in that position, but he carried it off perfectly, perfection. Show you the confidence that's there now. It's amazing, isn't it? A few games, bit of confidence, but in a team that's stable, playing with Maguire all the time, and that man gets his extra contract for an extra season, doesn't he? We'd be crazy not to. If our centre-back partnership in certain games next season was Maguire and Yoru, imagine if that was like our FA Cup centre-back partnership or our League Cup partnership. Yoro is going to learn from that. He can only learn from Maguire. He can only benefit from playing with Maguire. Maguire stays, but Yoro is the future. And I'm glad he's got himself back on track, making me eat my words, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, he's certainly turned a corner, Yoro, and it's a fantastic thing to see. It really is wonderful to see. Bruno. Insight number 4. I don't actually believe in building a team around a single player. I think it's a mistake because if that player gets injured, God forbid, it's all over. And I lived through the 1980s at United, and for a big chunk of the 1980s, we tried to build teams around Brian Robson, which would have worked had Robson not been so injury prone. Not his fault. One of the best players I've ever seen, and this is why we try to build a team around him. But it doesn't make sense in many ways. So I suppose I'm not saying we should build a team around Fernandes, because it is a mistake to build a team around an individual player. But you would be daft not to see this man's unique abilities and not to make the most of him when he's available. And he is always available. We cannot countenance losing him in the summer. If that means 350,000 a week, well then, so be it. exceptional players are worth exceptional rewards. I think if we have Fernandes in the team next season, and we get a good replacement, an excellent replacement for Casemiro, and we introduce some more regular width to the team. Remember, we've got Dorgu coming back. We've got Harry Amas, who can play as an attacking left back. To me, what we need is an attacking right back. And as well as replacing Casemiro, we need a quality alternative midfielder. If we can put that together, oh, by the way, and probably an understudy striker for Šeško. If we can put that together in the summer, it's about 4 or 5 players, not 10. 4 or 5 players. And they don't all have to be in the 90, 100 million bracket, by the way. And we keep Casemiro back. And we keep Fernandes. I think we've got a real chance of achieving what my insight number 5 is, which is we are worth third this season. We really are. I think we're better than Chelsea. I think we're better than Liverpool. I think we're better than Aston Villa. I think we're a genuine third place team. This isn't luck. This is because we deserve it. I think we'll stay in third place. Of course, nothing's guaranteed. You never know what might happen. But I'm pretty certain we'll finish in the top 6, and that's European football. I think we're pretty much guaranteed to finish in the top 5, which is Champions League football. So I think we're doing splendidly well in the circumstances. And if we get the signings right in the summer, this is a squad that can absolutely force itself into the top 2. Why do I say that? I think City's issues are nowhere near being resolved. I think they're going to get worse. There's something not right about City. I think what we're seeing the extent of Guardiola's talent, which is he has never rebuilt a squad in a serious way. And he's now being asked to do it. And I think he's being found out in that respect. He's a glorious manager. He's a superb manager. His track record of winning is indisputable. But I think we're seeing the limits of where he's at. Arsenal, I don't rate. I know they're going to win the Premiership this season. I don't rate them, though. I think Arsenal next season are just as likely to finish 5th, 6th or 7th than 1st. Why? Because at some stage or other, teams will find, if they've not already done so, they'll find them out with this constant tactic of playing for set pieces and the way that they play at set pieces. Teams will react to it and they'll counter it. And I've also got a feeling that somewhere down the line, if not this summer, there's probably going to be a rule change that makes the rugby scrum model of corner kick illegal. And then Arsenal are in trouble because they're not a great side. They haven't got wonderful capabilities of creativity and flair to fall back on. They really don't. I think we can be in the top 2 next season. I really do. I know the Stretford end were chanting for Casemiro to get another season at the end of the game, and I can understand why. He had an excellent game. Header was glorious. I think it would be a mistake. I think the good thing about Casemiro at the moment, he's going out on a high, and I think he really deserves that, and it's great to see. But I think this is the right time for him to go, and I think the replacement shouldn't be a like-for-like replacement. I think it needs to be a replacement that puts us more on the front foot, makes us more attacking, allows us to play even more of a Man United style of play, a player with more legs, frankly, than Casemiro has got. And that will be an Elliot Anderson, and it will be I don't think it's going to be a Carlos Blaber. But of all the names that are being mentioned, they're all players who've got more legs than Casemiro, and I think that will be a vital purchase in the summer. So the 5th insight and final insight is I genuinely believe that competing for the Premiership is a lot closer than some people think. I think it's a summer transfer window away. I genuinely believe that. The most important thing is getting the choice of head coach right. And I would hope that after yesterday's performance by Villa and seeing Emery on the touchline looking like he could kill his entire team, can we put Emery to one side? He's not the man for United, never was. The man who is for United is staring us in the face. But let's wait until the end of the season to make it official. Hello, sorry if there's a little break in the video there. Yeah, something went wrong. As I said, I'm on the road at the moment, and it's a bit of a temporary lash up. But yeah, so that's my 5 insights video from the game against Villa. For the Brentford game, I'll do my best to get something out, but I will get a predicted 11 out before the game, and I'll get my player ratings and 5 insights out as soon as I possibly can. They'll probably be in roughly the same format as this. So please thank you for your patience on these videos whilst this is the quality. I promise I'll get back to kind of normal quality as soon as I possibly can. But if you've liked this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. If you know someone who you think would appreciate the stance I take on this channel, please let them know about it and encourage them to subscribe as well. That's the 5 insights for now. And until we see each other again, always remain positively united.